My name is Shemsu-t. I am the CEO of Masterforce and the founder of Masterforce International Leadership Academy. We are so excited to welcome you to the 11th season of Ignite Your Soul Connection. We have been producing these sessions every year now for the past 10 years, and we also do the summer solstice as well as a gift to our community. We are preparing you to have an awesome winter solstice so that you can bring in and receive and magnetize yourself to attract whatever it is that you are intending to create in life. So during this week, we have 7 days of amazing conversations. We have two panelists each night with a facilitator sharing just amazing stories. And all of these amazing speakers happen to be Master Force certified life coaches. You are going to learn so much about their journey as well as what it was like to go through the course, and then how they have used this information to actually change their lives and then the lives of others. I am glad to be able to introduce to you tonight one of our facilitators, and this is his first time being a facilitator. So we're sending him so much love and light because we know he's going to just have an amazing time with Teresa and Dr. Marlene. But I'd like to bring to you our wonderful facilitator and the father of four amazing young men. I'd like to bring to you Robert Nickson. Are you with us, Robert?
Yes, I am. How you doing?
All right. Hey, how are
Very
you?
good to see you.
Good to see you.
Yep, how's everybody doing? Yep, that's good. Well,
That is.
I start off and introduce myself. My name is Robert Nickson, and I currently live in Chicago, Illinois, and I was certified with Master Force in 2018. And prior to becoming certified, it's pretty much all over the place and trying to figure out things in my own life and getting things together. I got married pretty young and at 21 actually, and going on 10 years now. And it was a little difficult for me trying to figure out things when I graduated from college, getting into the workforce and everything. And I met a great friend of mine, Tammy Matthews, which is also a Master Force life coach. And it was just something about her, the way her energy was and everything. And like what's going on, and I wanted that because I was a little down on myself at times and trying to, like I said, figuring things out. And she told me about Master Force. And when I came across Master Force, it allowed me to explore myself on a level that I could never even imagine. And it helped me out and put me on a journey to heal myself as well as others that were close by my family, my mother dealing with kidney issues, my grandmother with lupus. And I wanted to help, but I didn't really know anything as far as ways I can help them. And besides being good energy, good spirit, and staying around them that way, and hopefully they can feel better. But I'm like, it's something else that was deeper to it. And Master Force provided that to me with far as learning about myself on a intuitive level and to seek my answers from within. So I've been on a journey to, like I said, heal myself and heal others. And it's been amazing. And, as I continue to read and learn the different tools that Master Force that gave has given me, and I give it out to others as well. It's like the energy that I'm able. I wish I knew how to really explain it on that kind of level, but it's just the energy is just so amazing that I can give out to others and give it back on under the mirroring act. So, um, like I said, I've been on this journey for a while, and throughout that time, within the past year and a half, I got into numerology, and numerology has helped me to realize some things that we already have, that we're born within our divine side. So I learned some healing techniques through numerology, which is why I was excited about getting on into this panel and interviewing you two wonderful ladies. So it should be exciting. And, I definitely have a lot of questions for you all, to see what you all went through throughout your journey, and the different challenges that you may have went through and how you overcame them. And I'm excited to hear from both Dr. Marlene Fain and Teresa Lugo as well. So let's get started. And Ignite Your Soul Connection is, like Lou said, is my first time. I'm very excited about it, and I'm very excited to hear from you ladies. So let's get started. If you all can introduce yourselves, and let us know a little bit about you. And I'll start with Dr. Marlene. She here. How you doing?
Well, good evening. Good evening. How are you?
I am doing excellent. Thank you.
Good, good. That's a lovely smile. Well, good evening, all. I am Dr. Marlene Fain. I live in Chicago, and currently, I was asked, what is it that I do? And currently, I'm being a great grandmother. So, to a 12-year-old who is being homeschooled. So, due to the situation. So that currently is my primary focus, which is so exciting. I became a Master Force life coach in 2013, and it changed my life. I had been on the path for transformation for many years, and I had been after Shemsu-t for I can't even tell you how long. She was a very difficult lady to get in touch with, unless you were about being about something, And it said when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. And so during this time, I had asked, I had gotten away from the arena of transformation, and like you, I was just not really stuck, but I wasn't doing anything productive in my mind in terms of assisting, transforming others or transforming myself to the degree that I knew was possible. And so being involved with Master Force gave me my tribe, it gave me people, again, who were committed to transforming their lives and the lives of others such that they know the difference that they make in the world clearly, because most people don't know that it means something for them to be in the world. They're not just here just to take up space. Mm-hmm. So that's predominantly what the situation was. And I was a transformational coach and trainer, team leader, my goodness, for many years. And I just stopped. So now I'm back in the arena, and Moot, and she kind of makes sure that I show my face, that I'm not, that I don't allow myself to go back to rest, such that I'm not using the gifts that I've been giving to serve others. Mm-hmm. And there you have it.
Absolutely. That's very great. And Teresa Lugo, thank you so much for that, Dr. Marlene.
You're welcome.
And Teresa, is it Teresa or Teresa? I don't know.
It's whatever you want to call me. I still am.
Is that better?
It's fine. Teresa's fine. Hi, everyone. Good evening. I'm here in Puerto Rico. By way of Chicago, I'm a diehard Chicagoan. I am proud Master Force coach here, and just honored to be here tonight. I'm so honored to be here tonight. This is such a huge thing for me. I think that this is the most exciting part of being a coach, is being able to be on this panel tonight and to be able to represent Master Force. So I am.
I was like, all right, now.
So I guess I could start off by saying that not only am I a master coach, but I'm also a a Reiki master, it goes hand in hand, right? Because once you start reaching these levels of spirituality, you just want to fly,
Yeah.
and God gives you permission to fly. And I tell you, it's an honor. I'm always humbled, Shemsu-t, I'm just loving that woman for what she has done in creating these amazing people. Every time I hear the word master forces coming together, I'm like, oh, the masters are coming, it's about to go down. This is great. So yeah, I mean, I just feel very, very, very happy here today. I just birthed my first book on Amazon Kindle last night. So I'm just honored again, because I know that this work has brought me to who I am today. Had it not been for Master Force, I probably wouldn't be doing what I'm doing today. And that's transforming other people's lives, being a stand for others' greatness, and just living a very vulnerable and humble life, all open to fly.
And if I'm not mistaken, you were a call-in some years ago, correct?
Did I what?
I said you were a call-in some years ago, correct? To the show?
Yeah, I was on the show a couple times, I'm sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, that's excellent. That's
Yeah.
excellent. Well, did you have anything else, or were you done?
I am done. I could talk for another hour, but I'm gonna let you go.
No. We're gonna get a lot of that. It's okay. It's okay. I was making sure you were done speaking. I didn't want to cut you off. So that's good. That's very good to hear. And congratulations on that as well, too, as far as starting your new book and everything.
Thank
Wish
you.
you the best of luck. But so go back to our very first question, and I want to go back to Dr. Marlene real quick. Well, both of you all as well, but first we'll start with Dr. Marlene, and I want to kind of ask you something as far as with weight in particular. Do you believe personally that these are more so tied to abandonment issues, probably?
Well, I mean, weight itself, the collecting and releasing of weight has everything to do with life and what goes on with it. I mean, from your earliest beginnings, because like in the era in which I was raised, your parents say your food on your plate, you eat all your food on your plate, okay? And they used to pile up them plates and you couldn't leave a drop, all right? So fortunately, I did not get fat, or what was considered fat, until I got to be like a teenager. I started gaining some weight, but I still wasn't out of shape, okay? And then once I got pregnant, it was over, So I had the first baby and didn't lose the weight from the first baby because, I didn't really know at the time that it mattered that you need to lose weight and do all this stuff, And so I didn't concern myself. And so what I learned though over time, like growing up, all the people in my family were excellent cooks, okay? And so like my mother used to make sweet potato pies. She would make 10 of them. Marlene would eat 6. I would not give anybody any. You couldn't have none, okay? So, and then when I was pregnant, they had Nestle's Crunches. They used to be nickels and they used to come 24 in a box. I would sit and I would eat them. Nobody could have none, okay? Not none. So it was, and then I remember when I used to eat 6 pieces of toast for breakfast. I mean, just pigging out. And so, but I still didn't get what was considered obese. I didn't really realize that I was quote unquote fat because, I thought I was God's gift to the planet, weight and all. And then before that though, the attention was such that it was nerve-wracking. So, some people, when they're not that intent upon attention, then they do things. So I would begin to eat because I thought people would leave me alone, but that didn't happen. It just didn't happen, Robert. I'm like, well, what the hell? So, after that, I just didn't concern myself about it anymore until I got like, too big. And then But even then, it wasn't what stopped me or what made me be aware of what was going on. Was I was doing a training and I wanted to staff the training, and I couldn't staff. They wouldn't let me staff. And I had done everything that was gone. So I went to my mentor and I was like, I want to staff. And I don't want to, blah, blah, blah. And Jerry can staff. And Jerry's big as a pig, right? And he said, what does that have to do with you? And I'm like, well, I don't understand, because he's fat. And so that's when I knew. He said, well, that should tell you that you being fat has nothing to do with you staffing. And so what I discovered was that it's how people hold fat and where they get it from. You know, some people gamble, some people drink, some people do drugs, some people do whatever. But most people emotionally, they eat. And oftentimes they're not aware of the triggers, you know, whether, and it does, it's an emotional conversation. Absolutely. But, you know, I will defer here to Teresa, because I'm long-winded.
But I was very good. I definitely appreciate that. Go ahead, Teresa.
Well, for me, you know, I come from a big family. We're a family of 12 brothers and sisters. So there wasn't a lot of food to go around. So there was no real obesity in my family because we only had certain foods that we could eat. For me, the weight came on as I got older. And I remember Moot talking about it in our first, well, I got certified in 2012. So that's what, 8 years ago, when she was saying that a woman gets to a certain age, and if once menopause sets in, and if you haven't done your emotional work, it gets real ugly. You know, we have our issues they just start exploding all around us, right? So I remember when I got to that age, I started to feel that. I started feeling very emotional, very bitchy, very moody. And I just started plumping up. And I was still working out, because I've always worked out. That to me is my release. I've been working out since I was 25 years old. I haven't stopped until I broke my leg most recently, but I still did some other things. But you know, when I started to see that, I said, what is this? What is this? And what I started to what I had to do was start doing my emotional work. And when I really got clear, because I remember asking Leela, and I was asking Moot, and I was asking who else? Icha. It's like, what is it that you guys do to release weight? And that's, you know, rubbing. And I'm like, but that doesn't make sense. It never connected for me. Until I really got clear about, that's loving yourself. Touching yourself is loving yourself, and sending energy to your body and releasing those stuck emotions, right? So then I really started saying, okay, I really need to study this a little bit more, because emotional eating, it carries a lot of weight, right? It carries a lot of weight. And a lot of us don't realize that, you know. You could look at a person like me at the time. I was fat. For me, maybe not for the next guy, but for me, I was fat. And for me, it was more like I was holding a lot of emotions, unforgiveness. I wasn't feeling myself anymore. I felt unsexy. I think I was leaning towards more of the masculine energy, because I was doing a lot more stuff in my life. So that feminine energy was just dissipating, and that masculine energy was rising up, and I was just a mess.
Yeah. So that was a balance you were kind of seeking.
Yeah. So I had to balance all that. And in order to balance that, I started seeking ways to balance that. So that's when I got certified as a Reiki master, because when I did my first level, I had an amazing experience. And then I had my second level, and that just took me way out of the ballpark as far as emotions are concerned. And the importance of moving that stale emotions is very important. As you know, Louise Hayes, and I believe in 1984, wrote the book, you know, You Can Heal Your Life. And she talks about the connection of the emotional stuff that we carry becomes the physical ailments, right? So, I mean, there was a lot for me to look at. And I found this amazing secret. It was like, you're telling me it's not the food, it's just all these emotions that I'm holding inside of me.
Yeah, yeah.
that I'm pretending are not there, right? So that I could fly and be this amazing woman out here, but yet my body's out of whack. I am, real short with people. And so I had to look at all that. I had to reinvent myself. Like I had to die to myself. I had to just completely die to myself and just bury that old person and say, okay, let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Rise up. How do you rise up? Start meditating, start breathing, start learning how to breathe, right? I mean, breathing from the belly up. I was breathing from the heart, but all that stuck emotion was in my belly, right? So I had to learn all of that. And those are just simple techniques that we're not taught. No one takes time out to teach you. And that's why, some people are like, well, life coaching, yeah, that sounds great. I should do it, but it's no big deal. However, these are life skills that you learn.
Yes.
I mean, I tell people all the time, if you could get certified as a life coach, it's only just to teach you some skills that you can learn for your family and empower your family. It's a beautiful thing. So, yeah, it certainly taught me a lot. I felt like I had a 2x4 in my flow. It was
Yeah.
just becoming stale and stagnant, and so there was work to be done. And when I started doing the work, I started releasing the weight, and it was a beautiful marriage. It really
You
was.
agree that it'd be the healing within the inside and the outside will follow. So
That's
that's kind of like my method that I use, like for some of the clients I train personally for personal training, and a lot of
nice.
them have that goal. Everybody wants to lose weight and everything, and take a different approach and focus more so on the healing on the inside. So you feel good about yourself, you love yourself. You can tell yourself, "Nah, I don't need that. I'm not gonna take that. This makes me feel like this, whatever." But both of you all definitely touched on two key points with speaking on emotions. So as far as we're releasing those emotions to help you all out, and I definitely agree with it, especially doing numerology. And I pulled up quite a few of them with obesity, overweight, and weight problems, and all it is release emotions. So I'm gonna briefly read with the weight problem is that manifests in a need to be thanked, recognized, or appreciated, and the other to be in control. So both of these are the patterns that's linked to abandonment. So that's why I kind of asked about abandonment, because weight is composed of like suppressed negative emotions. That's how I kind of look at what weight is. And the problem is anxiety, uh, over being abandoned by others,
Mhm.
and the nature of abandonment can also be emotional, physical, or mental. So like uh usually going back to our past and everything, and different issues that we dealt with, whether traumatic experience or abandonment, can possibly be the reason why people gain weight, possibly.
Right.
So
Right. Well, in the sense that, abandonment is like you could be you could live with your parents or whoever is rearing you
mhm.
and be emotionally depleted. You know what I'm saying? Like your emotional self, you can be abandoned, emotionally abandoned, if not necessarily physically abandoned, because society at large in general
Mhm.
is not in touch with their emotions. Emotions. One thing that I noticed when I was doing the trainings, we would come back from these weekends, and the parents of the students would be there and everything. And so the staff would have to speak. And I would be so overwhelmed from the experience that I cry. And so it's like I'm a waterworks, okay? But that's only because I have allowed, once my emotions became released, I did not suppress them for anything or anybody. So if I need to shed a tear, I'm going to shed a tear, but it does not mean I'm not going to do my function. It just means that I'm allowing the emotion that has arisen at this time to release itself so that I do not contain it, especially if it's a negative energy. But there's such a place that you can be once you reach it, that you dispel negative energy with who you be, so, and being a master force coach will assist in facilitating that experience, you know, such that you do not hold on to things, because like, as Teresa was saying, you don't really realize what's going on, because you're operating from survival. You're not operating from living. So when you're surviving, your focus is surviving. You know, if you can eat, you're gonna eat. If you can eat more than you should, you're gonna do that. If you can get high but more than you should, or quick, or whatever the heck that you think is going to dissipate that feeling that you're feeling, because you will not do the work internally to find out what's going on. Because it's as you say, once you go inside and you look at, okay, yeah, I was abandoned. Yeah, this happened. Yeah, blah, blah, blah. And so what? You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like, so where are you? Yes, that was a part of your life, but is it a part you wish to hold on to, whether it was from parental units, whether it was from relationships, whether it was from your best friend, no matter who, wherever the energy came from, or the sense of abandonment that caused the emotional lapse, such
Right.
that you became feeling that you are less than, you know what I'm saying? Because of this, I'm less than, you know, why don't blah, blah, blah. And so it's like women, when men, before they know who they are, in most cases, you know, and a man leaves them, well, what did I do? What, you know, who, blah, blah, blah. And so you attempt to rearrange who you be in order to do that. And while you do that, you're suppressing who you are. So abandonment, you can be physically present and be abandoned emotionally, you know, and not be in touch. If anyone listening is in touch with their emotions, don't allow people to make you suppress your emotions. Whatever you're experiencing, experience that experience. I'm not saying you have to berate and do all of that, because really, once you become clear about who you are, half the stuff people say and do whatever won't matter to you. It'll be like water rolling off a duck's back. And God bless them. Love and light, baby. Keep it moving. So.
Oh, wow, that's great. That's great. And like you said, it's really that like you said, that energy, you know. But what I really kind of want to ask you is, well, really for Teresa, if I can ask you that. I know you said you kind of really noticed more so with your weight during the menopause period when you talked to Moo and everything, and kind of realized your transformation. Oh, I mean, you sought to seek your transformation. I want to know, how did you really deal with negative energy from those who may have noticed that you were kind of gaining weight or you were fat and everything? Did it really show in your personality? Or because I see some happy, overweight or obese people, what they call them, and the energy is great. And then I see some of them that just down. It's just like, you know, so like, what was it, you know, that kind of made you say, I need to get myself together and get my weight under control, you know?
Well, you know, that's a very good question, because to each his own, right? To each his own. We've seen some incredibly beautiful um, overweight women that have confidence beyond words, right? And you've seen these gorgeous women that are drop dead gorgeous and have no confidence whatsoever, and they're nasty.
Exactly.
So that's a very good question, because where do we actually find the balance? For me, it was like I'm vain, you know, I like looking good. And that's why I've worked out all my life, because I know what I have to do to get there. So to be working out at that time and just trying to get ahead and trying to make my body look a certain way, and it wasn't going anywhere. I mean, I was working out, and my sister used to be like, nah, you're eating, girl. I don't know why you just lying to yourself. And I'm like, you're just not listening to me. I'm telling you what I'm telling you, right? And so I had to like really do my own work to find what it is. Where is it? So one of the things that I did because of like, you know, Master Forces, I seeked help when I went into Chicago most recently, November of 2019. My girlfriend's a psychotherapist there, and I seeked her help. I asked if she would allow me, you know, some time with her, 1 hour. And it was funny because she was like, oh yeah, girl, go get a bottle of wine and come by and we'll talk. I'm like, no. No, I need more than that. I need, something's not right. Something is just not right. So it was that last thing that I needed to do. So here I am doing months of meditation, you know, breathing to center, which is like we talked about, breathing from your nose, from the diaphragm, going all the way from the diaphragm, like your sacral, all the way up, and holding it in for like 5 seconds, and just slowly letting it go. And it's just, it gives you this peace, you know. And as a Reiki master, we have to have our chakras cleared. That's very important. You know, we have to have our chakras cleared, right? Because I can't be a vessel being used by God to give other people Reiki unless I'm clear. So I also started tapping into my, you know, my chakras, you know, and I found a lot of it was a mess. My heart chakra was off. Um, my sacral, everything was off. So I had to start doing that work. So, you know, but a lot of this does stem from childhood issues. And in this case, it was one of those issues that I didn't even know was there. And it came up in that session. It happened when I was 3 years old.
Wow.
So it could be some, you know, Scientology calls it Ingrams, and they have one-on-one coaching, and they call them auditing. They audit their clients to find where is that thing stuck? Where is it?
Yeah.
And until we deal with it, whatever that it is, we're not going to be happy. Even if you do have a beautiful body, or if you do, you know, write a book, or you do, you know, become this amazing coach, you still have that darkness in you, right? And you just don't realize it. We're carrying it like a Linus blanket. So you have to deal with it. We have to deal with it, because those traumas are embedded in us from childhood, you know, like the parents, you know, basically we get programmed from the age of 0 to 7, and once 7 comes, we got all that in us already. Whatever happened, we have it all in us. So, you know, those shut up and sit down, don't talk, you know, then we become numb. We start drinking, we start doing alcohol, you know, or drugs. And then, you know, the other one goes, shut up, sit down, don't talk, you know, you don't know what you're talking about. Okay, so now you grow up and you're that I'm not worthy guy, you know, or I'm not enough. So you end up working a lot and making lots of money, and intimacy is out the window. You won't get close to anyone. You don't want nothing to do with it, you know. So I mean, there's so much to say about that subject, you know. There's so much to say, and I think that the main thing is that we have to decide that enough is enough, you know. And we have to decide by looking at our outskirts. If our outskirts in our relationships, even with our children, is not good, or with our sister is not good, and you see that happening all around you, you have to ask yourself, why am I mirroring this? What is it inside of me that's mirroring all of this, right? And that's where the answer lies. It's right there with you. You know, as much as we try to avoid it, it's still going to be there. So, and one thing I will say too is I really appreciate the friends that have stuck with me, that are still with me today, because, you know, that word ride or die, you know, my ride or die friends, that you need that, because those are the ones that are going to be like, yo, you need to look at yourself, because you're acting a certain kind of way that's just not acceptable. And I'm not going to accept it anymore either, you know?
Yes.
And those are the people that love you. And so you have to, you know, sometimes you have to look at yourself and say, okay, I think that's enough. I think, you know, I want a better life. What steps can I take to start to get there?
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. And I think
Yeah.
that's great that you spoke on how much we got programmed during the time from conception to about the age of 7, you know,
Yeah.
and how much is learned during that time period, you know, as far as what our whole self-image and has developed during that period of time. And that's why I kind of focus a lot more on that area, being that I have 4 young sons and developing in that area. So, which is what made me want to pose a question: that do you feel like if, or as far as the eating habits,
Yeah.
maybe your parents or where you grew up around, do you think that has a
I
huge
running
impact
around like a
when you
chicken with
on
your
early on as far as your development and how you would be growing up? You know,
Lord, for work or for home or for
you
both.
know, some people grew up in a household where they eat junk food a lot, you know, and I know I love to eat, and I grew up around a bunch of cookers and everything, but great cookers, but it was the food that was in the house. So like I
Guy.
love vegetables, and I always did early on because of what was in my household. Although I like to eat a lot,
And now it's
sometimes not the
easy.
best foods, but vegetables never a problem for me. And same thing as well for my kids. Early on, we started them off on that. So do you believe
I
both of
got
you
it, Mo.
early
I don't know
on
how I
during
got unmuted though.
that particular
I'm
time
never unmuted.
that if
Hold on
the
one
eating
second.
habits
You
are
are now.
put in place that are pretty good and pretty okay, that despite what you can go through during that emotional period of time, you won't pick up any bad habits and say, hey, I'm gonna start eating this crap, or because I'm feeling like this, I want to eat junk food and everything. Because I kind of look at it as an excuse, and not to sound insensitive to what you all are saying, but like some people say, hey, I was depressed. I ate ice cream all the time and sat on the couch. I went through this and I just was eating, I gained all this weight. So that's why you gain weight. So, you go back to their childhood, like, man, what type of food, were you eating and stuff like that for you to even resort to eating this crap? Because it don't just
But,
happen like that. So that's why I
but,
don't really like to play the emotional
but
thing.
you know what, Robert? The thing is that the questions you ask people like that, they can't answer because they have not looked at how their life has been affected from their youth to this point. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like in my family, like I said, everybody was a cook and they was, my God. Okay.
Mhm.
So, but I was an only child in terms of at that time growing up, my parents' only child. And so I ate really good all the time. And then my grandmother worked at a restaurant that was famous back in the day. And so, we would go out to eat. And so I knew what was what and, what was healthy and all that. But they ate, steaks, heavy duty food, okay? T-bones with baked potatoes. I don't get me wrong. I used to love me a T-bone and porterhouse with some mushrooms, some onions, baby. What? But okay, then I read this book about food, and I found out the cow was my brother, and I said, well, I don't want to eat my brother, so I stopped eating beef in 1990. I had stopped eating pork in 77, 76, 77. Because of various and sundry things. But the primary reason, I began to feel unhealthy, breathing, walking, just all of that, and I realized I was carrying too much. Well, once I discovered internally what I was carrying and why I was carrying it and all of that still, then, and I did the work. It just started to go. And then plus when I finally decided that I mattered more than everything and everybody and their issues, okay? Not like I don't care and I don't love you, but however, there's a saying as a master force coach that there is no rescuing. I will aid and assist you and support you and champion you and uplift you like nobody you have ever seen, but I'm not going to rescue. You know what I'm saying? It's because I've been there, I've done that. I used to take the horse to the water, put the horse head in the water, make sure the water got down their throat and everything. Now somebody says, where's the water? I say the trough is over there, and either they go in that direction and drink that water, or they say, can you get me a cup? And I was like, the cup's over there in the kitchen. So you know what I'm saying? It's terms of, you support people, but you also allow them to discover that they are not help. They're not whoever told them what they told them about what they can and cannot do is a bunch of crap, because we are manifestors, we are creators, we are made in the image and likeness of the divine, whosoever y'all call it, that created the world. Those who believe in the Big Bang, God bless y'all. But that's neither here nor there. You know what I'm saying? So because of that, because you have that ability now, then you have the issue. Everybody don't want to wake up. So, you have to allow, as a coach, you need to decide, if you're going to drag them along after they say they want your assistance, or are they going to do the work themselves because they need to do the work? And Teresa said, you have to die to yourself. You have to die to yourself and your ego and your conversation consistently. And the best of the best coaches need a coach. Okay. So that's like, I'm a fantastic transformational coach, life coach, world coach, you name it. But I need a person like Moot because I am who I am. And unless you know who I am and you can operate with me from that place to say, Marlene or Dr. Marlene, you, it's possible that the conversation you're having right now, you should take a look at that. You know what I'm saying? So because, and she does it because like, even when we were talking about losing weight, she said, you don't lose, you release. Because if you lost something, you want to find it, right? We don't want to find what we have lost in terms of weight. So we are releasing what caused the weight in the first place. But you got to be able to discover that, Robert, you know? And so the questions you ask some people about, you know, what kind of eating, what kind of, they look at you like, well, what difference did that make, man? You know what I'm saying? When you know, it makes all the difference, because if they look at the beginning of the journey, then they'll know pretty much how they arrived at where they are, you know? So that's kind of like me. And you know, in my personal opinion, I don't find it of value to discuss a person's life with them. If you're not, like Teresa says, you know, if you're not clear, you know, and if you're not clean, how are you going to tell a person that weighs 600 pounds that they need to lose weight and you weigh 450? You know what I'm saying? It's like, you know, okay, yeah, I weigh 150 pounds more than you, but what's your deal? So, you know what I'm saying? You have to look at, and they may or may not say that because it's not about the weight. It's about who the person is inside of that weight. And once that person comes out, you know, comes out of hiding in that weight will dissipate. And when you don't feel like you have to solve the problems of the world, you know, when you carry stuff on your shoulders, like I'm sure you're concerned about, you have 4 boys, 4 young Black men in America, okay? And it's so much you have to teach them and make them aware of that it's ridiculous they have to go through that. My childhood was not like that, okay? So, and maybe other people's, but I'm of a senior generation, of a seasoned generation, okay? So, you know, it wasn't like that. And we didn't have all the foibles that you guys have now in regards to children. And I find it personally very challenging to be raising a 12-year-old in this day and age, you know, because it was said you cannot raise your children the way you were raised because that world is not here. And it's fact. So.
Yeah.
Thank you for that.
And jumping off of what you're saying, also, Master Force teaches us the MARV techniques and the MAPS technique, which is mental, emotional, physical, and spiritual, and balancing those out. You know, your MARV, your meditation, affirmation, relaxation, and visualization. You know, these are techniques that we teach our clients so that they can find that peace within. And then when they find the peace within, then they want to care for their avatar more, their bodies. They want to care for that. They want to drink more water. They want to get more rest. They start loving themselves more. And in that process, they start releasing the weight. And it's just magical. It really is magical what happens to a body when we start giving it the love that it deserves. It comes into the world desiring to be loved. This body is desiring, our spirits are designed to be loved and to be loved. And when we walk away from that, you know, all hell breaks loose.
Yeah.
You know, and so when we're able to just really, you know, work with our clients and teach them these skills that they never even heard of, they're able to tap into themselves, but then they're also able to tap into their children and teach their children these techniques, right? So these are very, very important conversations to be had, uh, because emotionally, you know, we're a world that are just running around here like we're going crazy out here, right? Because we haven't learned how to tap into ourselves, right? To tap into the God within, the little G within. So these skills that we're learning and we're able to give to our clients are life-saving. They really are life-saving.
Absolutely. Well, being that, I mean, I understand, you know, the part of wanting to be loved, and I understand what women do, or not just women and men, as far as wanting to release the weight. how do you feel about, and I'm just asking for a personal question of myself, with the women that's growing up in my age range right now of getting the surgeries and getting their bodies done. So do you think they stick in that to love themselves more, or do they want to be loved by other, looking for outer love from other people? So because can't really wrap my mind around it. So many beautiful women I've seen, and maybe a little chubby and everything, and get their bodies completely done. So
Mhm.
is
Well,
that
that's because they don't want to do the work. I mean, you know what I'm saying in terms of the concern in the moment is for exterior presence. It's not for their internal development, so that they would know their outer may attract something, but it won't attract what their inner wants and needs are required. And they may not even have that conversation. Now, there are a lot like who's that girl, Lizzo? That is like now Lizzo is seriously obese, okay? But what she does, I mean, she's doing what she feels is her brand at the moment, okay? But trust me, internally, she's hurting. Internally, she is truly hurting because you have to battle not only yourself, but society's definition of beauty, and the fact that, I mean, in Mauritius, the bigger you are, the more men, the more money. Okay. But America, that's not what's going on. It's her brand for money and she's making it. And yes, she's going to the bank, but her heart, I'd be willing to bet you, is not in the greatest of shape.
so? Let me ask
So go ahead,
you,
baby.
somebody like you say her name, Lizzo.
Lizzo.
Yeah. So say she does have that operation done. Right now, she's doing it for the money. So she has the operation done and chooses to say, now I love myself. I love my body now. Is
Mm.
how much
As opposed to her not loving it prior to her doing that.
exactly?
Well, see, here's the deal. If she had really loved her body, like in truth, her body would not be where it is. You know what I'm saying? It's like it just wouldn't. I mean, and I don't know how to succinctly clarify it so that people get that this is not a condemnation. This is not a judgment. This is not anything. This is a what's so. Okay. This is based on experience. And I mean, I know I was large, okay, and I weighed like 300 and close to 340 pounds, but I was fine. Okay, to me, you cannot tell me I was not fine. Plus, I had confidence and all of that. It was only when I didn't get something that I wanted, um, and I thought I should have gotten, that I wasn't aware at the time about society's conversation about weight, because it had never, really struck me. It had never stopped me from getting a job I want, going anywhere. You know what I'm saying? It never interrupted my life to the degree that me not being able to staff, when I saw this man who was like 3 times bigger than I could ever think about staffing, not only was I pissed, I was like, okay, what is up? So when he told me that evidently, Marlene, it is not about your weight, okay? It's about how you feel, because the thought, how you think, is the cause of all things. You change your thoughts, you change your way of living. So, and as a man thinketh, that's what they are. So what you put into you, garbage in, garbage out. So if you're putting in, affirmations and breathing the center and your divine energy and love and light and the things that make the world, love makes the world go round. So, if you can make love, if love makes the world go round and you can be love and light and be that, like live that, own that. You gotta own it. You gotta own it. You gotta walk the talk. You can talk the talk, but if you're not walking the walk, you gotta own it. When people see you, they need to see, and you say you joyful, they need to see that on your face. Okay, they need to see when they look at you that you're full of joy. Joy and happy, 2 different conversations. I'm happy all the time, but I mean, I'm joyful all the time. And joy is bigger than happy, even though they both cool. But joy supersedes, on an ascension level, a degree of elevation you can't imagine until you get there. And it gives you the peace that surpasses all understanding. So You know, you gotta love you gotta love you. But if you're not brought into the world with love, or you come into a world of love and you know that you are valued as a being, because God is my witness. That's what saved my life. Okay. I wouldn't be sitting here talking to you at this time had I not known as a child that I was loved. Because trust me, I went down into the dark, okay, way deep down into the dark. And had I not had the foundation and knew that I was loved and valued, I could not have come out of the dark, okay? Along with the support of the people who championed, who saw in me what I didn't see in me, okay? Which is now what we do. We invite people to look into themselves to see what we see in them, which is their greatness. So, you know, and it's a job, babe. It's a job, but it's an awesome job, you know, because the end result, when you see somebody you have worked with transform, there's nothing like it. There's just nothing like it. So I'm pleased and proud as punch to be a Master Force coach and to be able to do this work with everyone here. And when we leave or whatever we do, I do have a reference about emotions, because it's all about emotion, you know, and it's all about releasing and valuing yourself. You know, you must fall in love with you. And like when Mood told Teresa to like rub herself, you know, it's like hug yourself, love yourself, feel on yourself, you know, and you'll know your body. You must know your body. So, but to do that, you have to be in touch with you.
Thank you so much. That's amazing. This is some good stuff that we're hearing this evening, and I wish we could talk all night.
I know, right? I know. We can't stay on the air all night.
Well, I direct this next question to Teresa right now. Teresa, what if you were talking to someone who was dealing with any issues as far as with weight release? What would or any imbalance that they may be dealing with? What kind of advice would you give them?
Well, you know, it's because I'm a Reiki master. I normally start off. I normally start off with a Reiki session. That's where I go right away, and we go right in to find out where those blocks are. And in that process alone, they release. My client just last weekend told me she released 3 pounds from Sunday to Wednesday that we checked in. And she was over the top about it. I didn't expect that. That's not why I do the work, but she was over the top about it. She got on Facebook and everything. But that's where it really starts, is really teaching your clients techniques that they could tap into, that would mirror back to themselves, right? Like, where is it that I'm feeling this? Where am I holding this in? The other thing that, and you know, one of the things I've learned that people want to give you them the advice, which I don't do that. I can't do that, right? I all I can say is I'm here for you. If you'd like to do a one-on-one, I'd like to talk to you for 20 minutes. If if it seems like we're a good fit, I would love to coach you in the next 4 sessions, and let's get through some things together and uncover that greatness. And part of that is also, having your client look at their master teachers. The master teachers are those people that have really pushed them almost over the edge. And for us women, it's usually our relationships with our men and the different boyfriends and what happened and how you want nothing to do with that person. And actually I'm getting recertified again as an executive life coach with Master Force. And that was one chapter one session that I did not like. Having to revisit those foods and write this stuff down, how much I appreciate what he did, and the message it gave me, Yeah. But, this is the work, this is the work. And going back to what you asked earlier about the way the world is teaching us that you should get implants and get your butt implanted and get some, whatever implants, all this other stuff that's teaching our young girls, wow, the easy way out, right? And they're just basically going to be just a doll at the end of the day. They don't have the wherewithal and the strength and all the skills, the life skills that will get them through the tough times, because the implants are not going to get them through those times at all. Right?
Especially not if they bust.
Yeah, so it's not even about, right? So yeah, I mean, that was a good question earlier, because that's a waste of time, but if we continue to do the work that we're doing, we will only get better and start empowering others to do better and be better. So
because that's the key, that is, I believe that is our purpose, is to support others in learning to love themselves, and that they do value, because it's so obvious when you don't love yourself. I mean, when I realized I hadn't had a pedicure in 8 years, I slapped myself. I was like, are you crazy? So, I mean, fortunately, my toes didn't look like claws or nothing, but, I hadn't been. And I realized that I hadn't been doing care for myself, because I had this other entity that I was more concerned with their development than my own personal self. And I'm like, how you going to be concerned about her while you looking like Ain't Sookie Jane out here, and that's not what you require of her. You want her to be this young lady who's on point and, blah, 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 and you're a housefrau. So I'm like, mirror, everyone in your life is a mirror of you, whether we think so or not, or any of that. They are a reflection of who we are in our life in some shape, form, or fashion. So everybody has something to teach us. And what Master Force people do is teach you about the magnificence of you.
Yes. Absolutely. This is great. Yeah. So pretty much wrapping up soon. Did you all have any final things you all want to say, or any references? I know you mentioned earlier.
There's a book. It's called The Field Guide to Emotions.
Field Guide?
Field Guide. I'll shoot you a picture, but FIELD Guide to Emotions. And I think it's 150 or something, because I did I don't know if I can send you a shot of it or not. But anyway, it was written by one of my former coaches and his buddy, and the value, it breaks down emotions and how each one is attached to you, like what it concerns. I mean, it's a phenomenal thing. I'm going to send you the picture so you can do whatever in the recording. But that's what it's called. And of course, change your thoughts, change your life.
For me, I always say, you didn't gain that weight in one day, and you're not going to lose it in one day, right?
Absolutely.
So really give yourself grace, be patient with yourself, love on yourself, tap into yourself, learn to breathe. Take that deep breath in the morning, all the way down from the very bottom of your diaphragm, and just be with your breath, be with yourself, and allow whatever it is that's going to come up for you, whatever that is, you're going to find it. It's there for you. And it's great to have a coach. People are saying, I something's wrong with me if I have a coach. Something's got to be. No, that's not true. Because even the most powerful people that I've met that are amazing. I have a dear friend of mine that's a billionaire. I love him to pieces. And Steve has a coach. He has a coach, and he don't need more money. He just needs more clarity. And I love that about him. And I love that about anyone that I've met. They're so amazing and very, very wealthy, very powerful people that have coaches. And that's to me is somebody that you can process with, someone that you feel safe with, to be able to process with, and to be able to release stuff that just doesn't serve you. It just doesn't serve you.
And they know when you tell stories. They don't let you tell your stories or make excuses. When we used to have an issue and we used to run it, I used to call coach and complain and moan and groan, and they say, like, okay, you got 5 minutes. 5 minutes for this right here. And so, you know, you get it all out, you play your violin, and then it's like, you know, you're on to the thing. So you got it all out. And it's like, so what now what? So now what are you gonna do? You know, and the other thing that I would leave you with is we had a saying that there's shit in the world, there's lots of shit, but in the shit, there's a pony in the middle somewhere. Okay, but you got to find the pony in the shit. You got to see the joy in the shit. Or now, if you fall in the shit, you can have 8 feet of cess, or you can have 4 feet of cess. Okay, so you get into the 4 feet, and you can say, "Oh, I could climb out," you know, or you can get into the 8 foot and say, "Oh, this shit is deep and can't get out." So, you know, it's like how you think about the scenario, and we allow people to discover. We don't give them answers. We let them discover the answers for themselves, because everything you need to know is already inside of you. You just fail to recall it when you got down here with these people.
Yeah.
So, you know, that's what basically I would leave us with, all of that, to love and to rub on you, rub on you.
And I want to add that my favorite book, and the reference that I want to leave you with, is Eckhart Tolle wrote this amazing book. It's called A New Earth.
Yes.
And it talks about the pain bodies. And it's such an amazing book because you can really get that you are not those pains. You are not those voices that have been telling you that you're ugly and that you're not unworthy, and all that stuff that has gotten us to really bury ourselves in our stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
But when we start reading books like this that teaches us what that is, and they're called pain bodies. And when you hear it and it comes up for you, right? Your brain is a terrible place to be in, let me tell you, terrible. But your heart is always going to tell you the truth. But the pain body is something that is triggers and triggers and triggers, and we all have them. So the book talks about that, and it's such a lovely book to read, to really get some clarity around being able to master yourself.
Right, and then move on to his The Power of Now.
Yeah.
From that, the New Earth, if they can get to that, because what you had said about something you said about them, I don't know, I lost it right now, but for the most part, in terms of what's discoverable, you know, when you talk about books, I mean, we, between all the coaches, I mean, the books, I mean, the library, oh my goodness, you know, if people could just begin to see, you know, I mean, because from conversations with God and all that, I mean, it's a process, you know, and it's just like you can either be the weight or you can let the weight go. You know, it's just as simple. It's not simple, but it is simple, because things are only as challenging as we make them, you know, because nothing in reality, if you look at it in reality, nothing has any meaning in the world unless you give it meaning. So whatever meaning you place on fat or weight or whatever intensifies, you know, your conversation. It intensifies. You create the energy of people saying, "Oh, you fat." You know what I'm saying? But you don't realize that you are bringing that to you, because that is how you hold yourself. So if you don't hold yourself in that way and begin to see who you are, because you didn't come out to your mama weighing 400 pounds, you know, so why you want to do that to yourself now? And that's all. Just love yourself. That's what I would leave us with, is to love yourself no matter what.
Yes.
I'm coming to see you, Teresa.
Yeah, come to Puerto Rico.
I'm coming, girl. I'm coming, baby.
You release it all.
Yes.
Hey, you ladies, you all been awesome, you know, and I gained so much insight from listening to you two ladies, and basically pretty much what I got from weight release and balance is that it's a conscious choice that you all chose to release that emotional weight and reclaim personal power by, you know, interacting with others and just releasing those emotional attachments. And I think that's just necessary for a lot of us, you know, and what you all spoke on with loving yourself and knowing yourself and just loving and enjoying who you are, we can actually help ourselves out so much more. And it's absolutely right about it. The life coaches and the help that's out here, and it's definitely needed. So that's really
No
gonna be
doubt.
getting back to a
Because
lot.
people don't love themselves, Robert. And
Yeah.
like right now, while we're going through this mess, and people are in a state of depression and they feel confined, and all of their little private conversations and demons, like Teresa said, your brain is a terrible thing to go, like to listen to.
Yeah.
So, when you have all of that and and that's what you're with, you know what I'm saying? You just it's challenging. It's challenging. So, we just send love and light all over the planet to people who are unable to emotionally deal with this, with this situation in their own personal life. But again, I would say if you recall nothing from these conversations other than breathing to center that your mental, emotional, physical, and spiritual health matter a great deal, and that the key thing is to love yourself. And just because you love yourself and you may have 23 children, 2 husbands, 4 girlfriends, I do not care. Okay, just because you have all those people does not mean you get to forget about yourself. So don't let people and folks that you love and you're being a caregiver and all that prevent you from hugging yourself, looking in the mirror and telling yourself, you are fabulous. You are just freaking fabulous. And believing it. You must believe these things or else it will not be beneficial.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Marlene and Miss Teresa Lugo. It's been excellent.
Thank you.
And blessings to you, my dear. Blessings to you. How old are your babies?
We actually had 3 birthdays in December. So
Wow.
December 10th, 16th, and the 24th. So as far as the ages, I have a 2-year-old, 4-year-old, 6-year-old, and a 10-year-old.
Oh, God bless you, baby. God bless you, honey. Okay, so you getting married anytime soon?
Been married, celebrate 10 years in July.
Oh, well, congratulations. Oh, I thought you was doing that all alone. I was getting ready to come through this phone and hug you, child. Okay. So God bless you. Good fortune.
Thank you, Dr. Marlene.
Yes.
Yep. All right. And you, Teresa, you all enjoy the rest of your evening.
Thank you, Robert. Pleasure meeting you.
Conversation with us. Yeah, thank you.
Yes, it was good meeting you as well, truly.
Yes. Thank you.
Very cool.
All right, Troy, have a great evening. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye-bye, guys.
Bye.